Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. This is a nice morning, Sunday, February 5th, and 11 a.m. Pacific time. Maybe I can get this thing off the screen. We've already started, haven't we? But get that gone, and there's something else there. There we go. And let's do this trick. Again, good morning. We're doing the breakfast with the Fusion Elmer guy. So I've got that. I've got a pot of beans, chili beans, on in the slow cooker working. I got them started late yesterday, and so I shut it all off last night, and it's starting to cook again. Might be able to have by mid-afternoon a bowl of chili beans. They're got a little sample across the room here. They're delicious. The beans are a little chewy yet, so they're just on this side of crunchy. Actually, some of them are pretty good. It just got some more cooking to do. Anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Did you hear that new announcement? What about that new announcement? The Big Head. That's a nice name. So, looks like they're changing their flagship, because the flagship was the 400. I'm not saying that this is replacing the 400, but as a flagship, I think it is replacing the 400. I'm hoping that the 400 in some aspect still continues, because I sort of like that big screen and the touch screen. I've got a couple of them, and I really do like them. So I don't know about you and your comments. If that's talking about comments, I haven't yet figured out how to get the comments back up here again. So give me half a second while you guys, if you haven't looked at this. This announcement, it was, they announced it yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, anyway, on YouTube's quick little stream John did. And then this morning this showed up on Facebook. So, and then everywhere else. Everybody's been copying it and talking about it like they own one for 10 years. I'm not going to talk about it like that, because I'm liking the idea. They're talking about better sound quality. We'll see how that goes. So far, it looks like a radio I'd like to have. So, I mean, we don't have any details. This really hasn't gone into much more than what John had said. Maybe some terminology is different. But look at that while I figure out how to get the comments going here. They say I'm supposed to get comments with this, but I have yet to figure out how comments are supposed to show up on this one. Looks like we've got 0 people show here right now. Again, this is always questionable. I'll go ahead and close this window out. I want to see how we're doing on the streaming. Or are we all messed up? Yeah, we're all messed up. We have bad weather here. Bad weather. Well, not really. We've had some snow, and we've had some rain. And a few minutes ago, before I came in to do the live stream, we were sitting in fog. The only thing we haven't had is sun. There's been no sun today. As some of you may know, I live at 3,400 feet up on top of a mountain. I'm off the grid, so I don't have the luxury of having a grid tied to utilities or anything like that. My internet is what I can get from a dish up in the tree, which is subjected to weather issues. I doubt in my lifetime I'm going to see an internet connection be drug up here. So we just go with the flow and take what goes, and unfortunately lack of internet speed and conductivity and everything else is part of that, which messes up, unfortunately, the stream that we try to do. I can't find a good time that's good to do the stream. That's one one thing I'm sort of looking for is to find a let me go back here. That's not what I want. Okay, we'll get this thing figured out. Maybe before the show's over with. Also, that's another thing I want to bring up. Somebody pointed out that they clicked on one of the streams, and it has something like 30 or 40 minutes of dead time right up in the front. And I had logged on to to the what I want to try to say, logged on to the stream a half hour early to check everything out, and just to be like sort of a placeholder, not to be actually doing a show at that time. If you are watching a video from the live stream, and where it says live under under there, please remember it's unedited. Everything that's in there that you have access to is unedited. So I'm torn between making it where going in there and clicking it where you can't get to it, which I don't think is a smart idea, because you lose the opportunity to have any access to any information that was there. But keep in mind, if you were watching the live stream, you're going to have all the hiccups. A live stream is what it is. It is live. When I post an edited version of it, I post it under a video. And some of them have been posted. Some of them have not. Some have not been posted because I can't really find enough good content in there to post a video for that time. I'll leave the stream up, but please don't condemn me for the stream being a recording of the live session, because that's what it is. Yeah. So anyway, I just just want to make that note. I'm hoping people realize when you're looking at live, it is a recording of a live session, unedited. And when I post it, I'll post it as a live stream edited, or edited live stream, or something along that line, to let you know that I have gone in and edited out dead space, anything that probably doesn't make any sense or whatever. And then I also go in and I'll add some caption and stuff like that, which is really, when it's live, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to ask what question, so you can't really go in there. A thing there. Okay, so I said something, and we do have something. Hey there, good morning to ya. That is, I have no idea. Anyway, good morning to you. I'm glad you're there. I am ready to accept questions, and I'll even accept answers. Yeah, I have not been making myself pretty here recently, so to give you an idea, let's see, which way do I have to move? I'm sort of unshaved here, so we're going to play hide the face day. Let me get back over to there. Okay, so here we go. Hey, cool. I like that. I could definitely use a wire up here. um, so I don't know what to call you. You want to be called vape or what? Are you currently using Fusion? And if so, what are you using? Do you have some questions, comments, or even talk about your thoughts on the new release, or the upcoming release of the FTM 500DR that I'm showing on the screen. This morning, scrambled eggs, spam, and English muffin, one with honey and one with boysenberry jam. For the sake of the fact that I can't figure out how to get this to be on the recordings, when this goes to YouTube live stream, you'll see the comments. But when I record it, I can't figure out how to get the comments in my recordings. So, Bape Throven says here, well, first of all, he says, hey there, good morning to y'all. And then he came in with, I'm going to hand deliver a wire line to you one day during drug from down in the Bay Area. Oh, Dylan. I see your name there. Sorry about that. Dylan. I'll get it right. My brain is not working this morning. Then he says, I'm joking, of course. Much love, brother. So at least we got somebody that understands. But give me a comment if you have any thoughts on the new 500 that will be releasing somewhere soon. I think they said they were targeting the end of, possibly the end of March. And what little they have released on it makes it look like a nice rig. The question, I have a couple of questions. They don't show it. They make it look like this is connected to the body, and then they turn around and they give another view of it. I saw somewhere else where it looks like it's like the 400 is detached. That was one of the problems, or not problems, but one of the things I would have loved to seen on the 400 is to make it convertible, if you will, be able to attach or detach. And I'm sure there must have been some struggle going on to figure out which way to go with that. But I like the idea of having a radio that's attached, all pieces, when you want it that way. And then there are times that you don't want the body, you just want the head sitting somewhere. I should take a picture. I do have a picture somewhere. I have my 300 set up underneath the shade screen over the console, the instrument panel console there. I have it on the underneath side. It interferes with the high-low beam and the turn signals. I think that's the only thing it interferes with. I can see the rest of the dash. The nice thing is with my hands on the wheel, I can control the radio. And I really don't have to take my eyes to the right or to the left. I just sort of look down like I'm looking at the instrument panel, and like you would do looking for your speed or whatever else on the instrument panel. So your eyes aren't totally off of the road. You still have the road in view. I like the way I've mounted that, and I think it's pretty awesome. And there's no interference with the GPS antenna. It gets the signal just like it should. So it would be nice to be able to mount that similarly. It looks like I didn't, they don't give us a lot of information, but it looks like maybe the head is. They call it a big head, but it does look like it's bigger than the 300. And so, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any more comments or any comments at all? I don't like dead time here, but I'm going to have to. Going to have to get somebody to talk. Who's on board yet? Somebody on board? I've only had one commenter, and I'm assuming it's a YouTube commenter. I think if you're on Zoom, I don't know whether a comment there comes through. I've never had anybody say they were on Zoom. Okay. Somebody's got to talk here. So the front speakers. And Steve, are you currently? Obviously, I guess you're currently a C4FM user. What do you do? You do any 10-meter C4FM? You do 6-meter, 2-meter, 70 centimeter. What area is your area that you like to work in for C4FM? Oh, you're talking about John Crook. John Crook. Yeah, he's going to go over all the stuff. He always does that. Yeah. I watched his little video yesterday or whenever it was that he put it out. And that's what he does. He goes over all that stuff pretty thoroughly. I shouldn't say pretty thoroughly. There's a lot of room for improvement. He can't spend days doing that. So he does what he can. And I gotta check something here, fellas. Um, as I said earlier, I'm off the grid, and we're under cloud cover right now, so we've got a generator running. I just heard something change, so I'm a little curious as to what. Yeah, and I'm same way there, Steve. I'm concerned. The screen looks like it's a good sized screen. It really does. Um, Now, looks like we're still cooking with gas out here, or LP in this case. I just heard a fan that I have on the heater change, and so I thought, uh-oh, something happened, but nothing did. We've got the batteries up to 80%, and we've got some help coming down from the sun, plus the generator. I say from the sun. There is a light glowing or light coming through the clouds, enough to generate a couple amps, and so it looks like we probably got about maybe, I'm going to guess without going through a bunch of stuff, it looks like maybe about 15 amps maybe from the sunlight out there filtering through the heavy clouds. So even though there's clouds, doesn't mean there's no charge coming through. It just means you're just not going to have enough to do anything with. And that's seriously not enough to even support the running of the computer here, and what little lights and stuff that we have running. And I have a repeater here. So the repeater is taking its load off of the batteries too. So we got to keep that going. I ought to do a whole series on living off the grid, but there's so many of them, people doing it, and I love watching them. There's Ambition Strikes. I like to watch that one. Weird Wild, was it Weird Wild Off the Grid? I like to watch that one. Those are two of my main off the grid people I like to watch. Because I really think I get a lot of inspiration, and they pump me up a little bit because I'm doing this by myself, and I get sometimes a little discouraged when I'm not moving as fast as I think I should be, or I run into a hitch somewhere, and so I look at those guys, and they do a good thing. There was another one I ran into yesterday, and I'd like to hook up with them too. It's not an off the grid, but it's a building. They're a bunch of brothers. They're in construction business, and they build homes, and I was watching them do one, and the video is about 4 hours long. I haven't finished listening to it yet. I did a little here, a little there, like we do everything else. Okay, I got to keep up with this streaming here. No, we do not know the dimensions. Seriously, I'm just guessing. It looks like the body is probably the same as the 100 to 300. They've all got pretty much the same form fit there. Um, yeah. Oh, Steve, you say you do 10 meter. Good. I have mine shut off at the moment. It's not on right now. Um, yeah, I don't listen to America Link. I actually have it blocked so that nobody can go through the repeater and get into America Link. Um, I don't. I don't want to say I don't have anything against America Link. I used to be there a lot, but I started running into problems when we got it attached to the repeater, and it was the same problem I used to have myself, and I would do the same thing other people do, and that is if you're trying to disconnect, you can't properly disconnect if they're tailgating. I mean, there's got to be five seconds of clear space in there for you to push the button to disconnect properly. And when you don't disconnect properly, it stays up. And I've come home and found the repeater's been running for hours on America Link, and there's nobody that admits to being there listening to it. I have to go in and actually physically turn off, reset the node to get it to disconnect. And it just keeps the repeater up. Well, that's one thing if it's one repeater, but this system that we have here is made up of 15 repeaters, and we don't need this going over 15 repeaters. So for courtesy to everybody involved, we have it blocked, and there's a couple others that are similar that we haven't blocked so they can't get in there. You might join the Zoom and see if you can make comments, and if I see them here. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, I'm streaming on Zoom, and that could be half a problem. So in my speeds today, I've been checking the speeds better part of the day. Our internet's been on, it's been off. We've had good speeds up and bad speeds down. I've had them the other way around, bad speeds coming down, good speeds coming up. But if you want to try going over there and see if you can make a howdy or whatever from Zoom or something like that, and then come back over here and we'll see if it came through. That'd be great. In fact, if I see it, I'll even try to answer so you'll know whether it made it. Yeah, you need to use the text on that Zoom thing. They have a text messaging thing. I don't know whether that works. And I'm afraid if I go try to bring up Zoom itself, I may be just shooting myself in the foot here. I don't know. I'd like to chat. And this is like half. This is. I'd rather be duplex. That's what I'm trying to get at. This drives me crazy. But I'm getting over it. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not too small. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll reconnect. If it goes away, I'll reconnect. Oh, it just came up on its own because I touched it. Okay, join a meeting. And let me see what I got to do, because I got to do something here, folks. Got to do something.
It makes music great, but it don't do anything else that bad.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I had to get rid of my old Mac because they just weren't supporting the operating system anymore, and unfortunately, it was one of those deals I purchased before I retired, thinking, well, okay, I'll get this and I'll be good forever,
Yep.
not realizing that they sort of have a clock in there for 10 years. Every 10 years, you're buying a new computer, whether you like it or not.
I mean, I think you can tell by my voice. I'm a younger guy, so I went down the PC route, and I figure I'll just change out all the parts as I go until I get to that point again. But I grew up on Mac. I used to be a Mac guy all the way.
I got started in CPM
In what?
long before Windows.
Oh no, I remember you told me about it.
Yeah, long before Windows, long before DOS, there was CPM, and then came DOS.
When you told me about that, I had to take a look, and I watched a couple of videos on CPM. Holy Moses, man! I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, I'm too old to mess with that stuff now. If that was, I played with Linux too, but I mean, I had four computers sitting on my, some desktops sitting on my desk over to the right, and then I had a computer station, and I used what they call a KLM or whatever. Anyway, and I could hotkey to any one of the computers using my keyboard and my mouse and the monitor. Huh?
No, that's great. I mean, back in that day, it was worth it. I mean, even for me growing up, I had two PCs that were for two different things, and I think that's kind of where I'm at now with my Mac and my Windows. Like, my Windows is my radio and my play-around computer, and then my Mac is my breadwinner.
That's cool. Yeah. So what are you doing? I trying to remember who said what, because I got that off the screen now. You weren't doing 10 meters, were you, or was it you, or was it?
No.
It must have been Steve.
Yeah, that was Steve out in PA, I think. What, N3XTF, I think?
I've got it.
Terrible. But yeah, I think you were telling me about hooking up my 5DR to my 10 meter. I have a B beam facing south now.
Uh-huh.
I kind of want to see what goes on. Should I just hook up to like the calling frequency and scan from there?
Yeah. Hook up
Okay.
to the calling frequency, and it's 29250, and put an antenna on there, and you want to select DN mode, and put it in GM, and I believe you have to put it in GM, and it won't transmit because it'll be out of band, but it will put the the frequencies, I mean not frequency, the call signs of the people that are on frequency up on your
It does
screen.
everything you would expect it to do. That's
Yeah, and you're supposed to be able to receive the audio too if it's if you got a strong enough signal. So obviously the receiver is probably fairly decent. I think the main issue is you're really going to need to have a good antenna, and you got to remember amateur radios are not like commercial radios, because we have to be able to go from one edge of the band to the other edge of the band, and so therefore the filtering is going to be pretty damn wide. If there's a signal out there, you're going to hear it, no matter what it is. I mean, there's a very wide skirt, or it's what they call a low Q. For like Motorola and stuff, for commercial stuff, they have used high Q stuff. They have filters and everything, so you really get a lot of adjacent channel attenuation and whatnot. You don't see that in amateur. So commercial people get a little frustrated over amateur radio equipment because they're expecting all the filtering, and it isn't there. It can't really be there and be cost effective either.
Oh, okay. So is that why a lot of people, and this is just maybe a new hand question, but like you get a lot of people that go for old, like Motorola and those old vintage, not vintage, but like older commercial radios, like from the 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like they're for specifically GMRS or specifically for some little band section. Is that because the Motorola's are typically commercial radios that are tuned?
Yeah, they got a much better filtering, much better front end. You'll probably hear it referred to as that. They'll have a much better front end for filtering and whatnot. It's more like a repeater, because like on a repeater, we're pretty tight with the repeaters. and the equipment these repeaters service are really much broader, because they have to be able to listen to this repeater, that repeater, all the different repeaters in the area, and different bands.
No, that's super interesting. I just got onto 10 meters, and I've been, I think since the last time we talked, I've built my baby, and I've been working at the tape a ton.
I'm going to try turning the volume up just a tad here so I can see what happens.
I was gonna say maybe I cut out right there because my door closed on me.
Okay. Well, your audio was been down, been sort of struggling a little bit to hear, so I turned it up, and I don't think I'm hearing any echo or from me. How are you doing?
No, you seem perfectly clear.
Okay.
And I'm not hearing myself at all. I may be getting a little bad because I'm standing near the coffee machine.
Okay. Very good. So, yeah, I'm not sure the exact procedure that you have to go through to put that thing in that. Somewhere you might do a search on YouTube or on the internet somewhere, looking for FT5 C4FM 10 meters or something along that line. See, because somebody they gave the button pushes to make that happen.
The FT5's user, or at least user interface for me, is so good. It's one of those things I feel like I could just pick it up every time and know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping. What is it? The new FTM 500? What were you had the screenshot up earlier?
Yeah, let me go ahead
what
and.
What do you know about it?
Same thing anybody would been listening would know about it, which is not a whole lot. John got on the air, did a little quick YouTube video. Okay, I put it up on the screen.
Yaesu rep?
Pardon me? Yeah, John Crook, the Yaesu. Yeah, he's the sales manager for U.S. And he just did a quick. It was like taking this picture. I put it back up on the screen on YouTube. So he took that and sort of shortened that down a little bit. Didn't go into any detail that's in here, and put it up there and said, he said, don't bother going anywhere else. He says, anybody that tells you that how it's going to work, don't know, because we haven't told anybody.
Okay, that's exactly what I saw. I saw that last night before I called it a night, and
well, this morning this is what showed up this morning on Facebook, I think it was, where I saw that. So
okay, I see it on. Am I paused? I think you're. Oh no, you're not. Never mind. Sorry.
What?
My YouTube was frozen, but I see it now. I was
Okay.
trying to look on YouTube because it's a little bit clearer. And all right, so what? So is it a mobile?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a mobile, and it's a dual band. It looks like it's got a larger head. I don't know whether it's as large as the 400. And, it's kind of hard to tell from what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
But the screen looks like it's obviously smaller than the 400, but it looks like it's bigger than the 300. Looks like it's going to be interesting.
Those have really tiny screens compared, right? Like really tiny. They're not touch, are they?
This one's a touchscreen.
No, the 3 and 4.
Oh no, the 4 is a touchscreen. The 3 is not.
Okay.
The 4 has got a big ass screen on it.
That's right. I was thinking of something else. But yeah, the 4 has a big old screen on it. That's right. That puts the. For a second, I was thinking the 5DR was the biggest screen they had. No, the 400 has a big screen on it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a touchscreen, and I like it. I don't know why they. Well, I know why they quit making it. I just don't know why they haven't replaced it. I mean, it's got the longest life as far as their products are concerned for Fusion, because you only had two choices when Fusion came out. You had the 400 and you had the FT1. Those are the
Is
only
it
two
all band?
choices. Huh?
Is it all band or just HF?
This is just a 2 meter and 440.
No, the 400.
The 400 is 2 meter and 440. That's two.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought they were HF
No,
receivers. I had
the
no idea.
400 the 400 is strictly UHF. I mean, it's 270. So you got those
Interesting.
two bands, but it's a touchscreen, and it was a nice rig. And at the time, they designed it so that C4FM was on band A, and band B was for FM only. I don't know what their thoughts were. Maybe they didn't think this was going to have the long life that it did. But at this point in time, you got to have a couple screens or a couple bands that you can do 440. I mean C4FM on,
Yeah.
because there's enough repeaters out there.
Yeah, depending on where you are, it's pretty rich. I mean,
Yeah.
at very least, I'm lazy enough to keep APRS or my hotspot on, B permanently, and then decide, hey, it's going to be my repeater today.
Yeah.
Not on the 400.
Well, no, the
Yeah.
400. The 400. That's exactly what you do. APRS
okay.
has to be on B, but you can't run.
What?
You can't put C4FM on B. Now you can do that on the HTs. The 3 and the 4, and I mean the 3 and the 5.
Yeah. I've never had that issue.
Yeah, but so that was always a problem of not being able to do that digital on the band B. But with their thought now, and again, like I said, I mean, that's been 8 years.
So did they discontinue the 400?
Yes, it was
Okay,
announced.
so do you think this is just a 400 replacement?
Nope,
What are the letters ahead of the 400? Is it just FT 400?
FTM.
Oh, yeah. So why wouldn't this be just a next level 400?
Well, I would think my opinion, I would think that they would eventually do an FTM 400 or 450. That would be if I was them, I'd do an upgrade on that and come out with a new one, call it a 450. See, that was their flagship. Now,
Yeah.
this one says here, birth of the new flagship. The new flagship.
Mm.
So they are releasing that 400 as a flagship. They can't get parts for it now, so that's why they quit producing them, because they have to keep those parts available for repairs.
Yeah. So they might as well just make a new model with the parts
Yeah.
that they have that are now available.
And this one here has been in the makings for a while, because you don't get to where you are now overnight. This takes a
No.
couple years.
So wait, again, why don't you think this is the replacement to the 400?
Well, because he stated that it is not the replacement for the 400.
Oh. Well, but see, that's as much as I support Yaesu. This is where I want to read between the lines. I think this will be the next big mobile. I mean, like you, I have this thrown in, or I'm probably going to throw this in my house if I end up getting one, just to have
Mm-hmm.
an actual base unit. I don't know if you saw my comment earlier, but I only run a 705 for H.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Digi modes. So, like, I would like to have a little more power. I'm guessing this is going to run 100. Like,
This radio here is a 50 watt.
Am I just not reading anything today?
This was in his announcement. It doesn't say it here, but this was
Okay.
in his announcement. It was a 50 watt radio.
Okay. All right. So that's a good amount more power if you are really pushing. I might actually be able to connect to you.
Yeah. Well, the easiest thing to connect to me, I mean, you have your FT5.
Mhm.
You have a computer. Wires
X to you.
use the PDN.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to
See,
do
that's-
is download the software and hook that radio directly into your computer, and running that software and onto the internet, and now you've got a connection. and you can work any wires X. Well, I have to depends on how you have it set up. If you buy the wire kit with all the wiring that comes with it, you can work anything. If you just use the USB cable, you'll be able to work only digital nodes. So if a digital node is listed as a multi-node, format mode, you will not be able to access it.
This is something I want to run through with you one day, because I think I was telling you about another channel, Andy, on M0FXB. I think he's a GP channel, or a station, that he keeps talking about this, and he doesn't seem to have a grasp on it, but he's where I got my understanding of it. So I've been trying to understand because I bought that whole SCU 39 kit, and
Okay.
don't know what I ever do with the audio cables, because when I connected it with you, I was just using the USB with the big box in the middle.
Oh, well, you say the big box. You mean the one that's molded to this in the center of the cable?
Yeah.
The SCU 20. That's the SCU 20.
The 39 is the whole kit with the audio.
Correct.
And okay. Yeah, because I use a hotspot all the time, so I only use that when I get asked to use like with you. I got used to ask wires X, so I went USB and I wired that whole thing up and made it happen. But I have a MMDB-M all the time, on. I think I tried to connect to your Gold Rush network, and because it's wires X, it said no. I was just playing around, but it said no.
Right, you won't be able to connect using that because their equipment works only with their equipment.
Only pure Yaesu, which I do actually totally understand coming from the DMR side of misery and volume levels.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they have control over it. And keep in mind, C4FM is not theirs. That's open source.
Mm-hmm. It's an open. Theirs is the chip that switches it all, right?
Well, the chip that switches it makes it AMS, and the other thing that is theirs is Wires X, and they protect that Wires X tooth and nail. You don't want to step on their toes because that's what makes the system work. Is that
works so well because. Man, I used to, when I had just my tech, I used to love just sitting with my DMR and listening in every morning to people calling in and random stuff, but man, I got tired of getting my ears blown out while I'm drinking my coffee.
Yeah.
Flinching because someone's coming in so hot. Yeah, I mean, and when you told me that initially, I think on our call, it makes total sense why it is actually kind of hard to get into Wires X. From a gadgeteer kind of side. Yeah,
and they're set up, and I'm going to use this as an example, and don't hold me to the numbers, but for your bit error rate, let's say that they look at 3. If it goes higher than 3, it shuts off. If
0.3.
Yeah, 0.3. If it goes higher than that, it shuts off. If the other companies, they want you to talk better, longer, further, whatever, and so they use a higher bit rate to before it shuts, error rate, I should say, before it shuts off. So even you'll get more dropouts with C4FM. It's because they're interested in the quality of the sound. If he starts going out and it gets more errors, the sound it gets degraded, and eventually it's going to drop out anyway. But they've actually intentionally tightened it down. The other thing too is they've done it, and they aren't budging from this, and that's the bandwidth. Because of their bandwidth, we're restricted to 6 and 10 meters. We can't, and of course, and higher 6 and higher, 10 and higher. What am I trying to say? Yeah, 6 and higher.
Yeah, the shorter.
Or 10 and higher. 10 anyway. Yeah, the higher the frequencies. So, so it'd be 10, and above.
10, 6,
Yeah, frequency
6,
above.
2 and 70.
Yeah, so we can go way up, but again, they aren't building stuff on 2 meter or 220. Not that we can't use it there, but there's no. United States is the only one using 220,
Yep.
and then you go up into 12 gig and stuff like that. There's not that much business out there. Now maybe if they did some C4 FM and built some radios for it. Now, ICOM just came out with a nice radio too.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I thought that would be pretty awesome to try to play with that a little bit, be a trader for once. But I do. I have the ICOM 7700. I don't use it right now. It's in storage. When I retired, moved up here, it got put in storage, and I just don't have a place for it.
No, and that's understandable. I mean, for me, getting into, I think I've told you, I only have had my ticket for about a year and some change. And my big thing was getting into all the different radios that I could ever come across. And that's Yaesu, ICOM, and then China. I mean, generic China radio. 78. You're going to come across your Pow Bangs. That's what I grew up on. Like, not grew up. I'm not that young, but like that was the first thing that I like touted around and kind of listened on, and really figured things out. And then you figure it out, and I mean, for me, it was figure out Yaesu and figure out ICOM. At least the newer ICOMs, where everything's going. Yaesu, like I said, I love their interface so much. Like, despite having almost twice the screen size, I think the 5PR has a more intuitive kind of system than my 705.
Yeah. And I'd be honest, I haven't experienced all the different radios out there, so I try not to do too much comparing because I really have to rely on a lot of the stuff on what I hear. It's like I've never played with D-Star. I've never played with DMR. I've heard what happens with DMR, when you're on this side of the hookup. And I've talked to a lot of people that have it. Like my friend Chris, he's been in communications, and he was really happy, and he got himself a DMR radio, and he had the equipment and the knowledge to do all the programming and setting it up and everything. But I'll tell you what, he ditched it mainly because it was cheap, and and I'm going to use this term because I don't know what else, I don't want to be shot as soon as I walk out the door, but it was the CB channel, because people that were CBers, that got into ham radio, they liked the 2-meter thing, but when they wanted to go digital, they couldn't afford anything other than a DMR radio, because that was, again, pocket change. So you got all the low-class people on DMR, and it became the CB thing.
No argument. I remember telling you the first time. So my 878 was my first licensed radio. Like the first thing I got when I got my license. I took a trip down with my girlfriend to San Diego, and she let me pick out a radio. And I chose an 878 because I loved APRS. I kind of didn't really, didn't know the vibe, and that seemed like a good radio for the time. And it was really cool. I would honestly say I think DMR is a great beginner's place, because you get to listen to anywhere that speaks any kind of English. Like, now I'm doing FT8 and logging and doing all that crazy stuff, but being able to just hear someone pop in from Korea and Egypt and England and then Kentucky, like, there's something magical about that alone, given you're still just kind of talking on the phone. But here, a great example of what you're talking about with the error rate is I have a repeater. I'm pretty sure there's 2 repeater sites on the same hill. Like, I'm guessing they're about equal distance to me. One, I cannot get into the Wires X. They have an actual Wires X connection. I can barely make it. Every so long, I'll see someone's call sign pop up or something, but I'll get like one word from them. That's that error rate, as where I can get the same uh, reception, I still get the same repeater all the time, but it's the same DMR repeater that just blows me away sometimes.
Okay, it's like I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he came in on FM, and he was struggling. He said, "I've been trying to hit your repeater on digital, and I can't do it." And so I said, "Well, are you using 47?" And he says, "Oh no, I'm not." Well, we were struggling to hear each other, but when he went over to the digital side, oh man, armchair.
It just
Yeah.
came through. Yeah, and that's the thing about digital. Like, yeah, he was coming in 4 and 7. Yeah, go digital. I mean, I laugh every time I hear on any digital mode someone's like, "Yeah, 5.9." Well, no shit. Sorry, I don't mean to say that. All right, I'm glad you say that. I'm glad you laugh at that because, like,
Well, I agree.
like it's digital, but unless you're coming in 0 and 0, like 1 and 0,
Yeah, maybe.
On DMR, I understand it because you get crazy burr rates and just different things that are completely nutty. Like I've had DMR on my hotspot where I'll tell people like, "You ain't coming through. I cannot understand anything you're saying." But on that same end, I've been on complete cross networks that have become a night show. So those are all just the errors of cross moding and open DMR.
I had a Japanese station come through yesterday, and I've talked to him before. I don't remember. I don't know what I did with his call sign. But anyway, his name's Masa. His name is Masa. I've talked to him before. Anyway, he came in on the Wires X, and I had a talking to him a little bit. He was like treating me like I was the first time contact with him. And finally, I said, Masa, I said, I think we spoke before, probably about a year ago. And and anyway, so he came back and he quickly looked me up, I guess, in the log. And boy, he like apologized. He goes, "You're right." He says, "September 18th, we talked." I'm so sorry.
No, I'm almost getting there with some of my VHF and DMR contacts. I'm going to start just journaling for people so I remember because. No, kind of going back to what you had said about DMR being like CB. When I first got on and I was listening to like, what is it, 91, the essentially America link, man, that's when I got people yelling about Trump and I had people, like, it was just like the politics CB network. I'm like, where's the class here? Where did everyone, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And, you expect people, that's when you heard people like crying that Grandmeister blocked them or one thing or another. And it's like,
well, there was a reason for them doing that.
No,
they were getting tired of that crap too.
Yeah. And aren't they? They're actually a German company, so they don't want anything to deal with the politics. They don't want anything to deal with us. It's all subjective to them.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't care. Just stop talking. But no, that's where I do completely agree. But it is funny, like I even D-Star has a lot higher class.
Yeah.
To it.
Well, the thing about D-Star though is, D-Star, and I probably told you this before, but D-Star and Fusion are the only two digital voice modes that were designed for amateur use.
Yeah. DMR is a Motorola thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's commercial.
Yeah.
P25 is commercial, and P25 actually C4FM is their base information is P25. They just took P25 and manipulated it and made it better and called it C4FM.
That's interesting. Okay. I was going to ask you earlier if that guy was coming in, but no, I'm guessing he came in through Wires X network. But if he was coming in through 10 meters, because I've been playing a lot of FT8, and man, Japan's been on fire. If you get a chance, I would say in the evening time, check out. I don't know how single sideband acts, but man, Japan has been crazy with the propagation.
Well, this was when I talked to him. It was he says it's 8. What do you say? 8:53 our time Sunday morning, and and it was like 3 something here, our time in the afternoon on Saturday, and so. Anyway, he ended the QSO by saying, "Well, it's my breakfast is ready, so I need to go and have breakfast. Thank you very much." You know, and and so he, like I said, he's a nice guy, and sometimes I'm a little leery about doing foreign countries because of the language, and his English is fairly good. I mean, it's definitely Oriental. I mean, you can tell it.
Yeah.
And he talks very, very slow. It's like, okay, hurry up. This is America. We're in a hurry here. We're always going fast.
Hey, he probably knows the consequence of talking too fast, though. So
Yeah.
and that's where I do actually kick out of listening to the different stations try to speak English to America.
Uh-huh.
Like I'll jump on to like what is it? CQ UK. And man, I can't understand those guys. Like they'll get going sometimes, and I'm like, you guys are ripping in the thick accent. We're speaking the same language, and I don't get it. But no, DMR, I've had a lot of contacts with like South Korea and stuff. And I've noticed that they speak very slow and very clearly. But all I can do is appreciate it. I mean, I catch every call sign, even through getting lax and playing with the volume.
We got 2 Calgary repeaters in our system here.
Man, you don't have anything down here, do you? I'm in San Francisco Bay Area, south of it.
No. Are you going to put one up for me?
Give me time. I'm still in an apartment. I'm about to I think I was telling you I'm debating starting a channel on just getting people in apartments to ham radio. I have a 10 and 15, 2 different Bs in here, and not to, everyone's got the awards now, but I'm playing the awards game, and I've gotten a lot of awards not even stepping out of my apartment so far, so when I can finally set up a station, it's time.
Yeah. Well, what I would like to do, my dream is, because I'm sitting right here, I mean, I can literally throw a rock and break somebody's window on I-80. Okay, that's where I'm at. And so I really would love to see an I-80 repeater corridor all the way from coast to coast.
Yeah.
And I set up in my my IMRS coding all stations that would be starting with an 8. I've set them aside. I won't let anybody touch those because that's going to be for my I-80 corridor system if I ever get around to getting enough people. We've basically got a repeater in Wyoming, which is just I think a mile or 2 south of I-80, and their repeater covers I-80 quite a ways because of the, all flat out there, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So. So we've got one there. We've got this one here. It'd be nice to have one down in the Bay Area. If I can get one back east somewhere, then maybe we can sort of start to fill it, and it'd be a good way to check, because I-80 is a coast to coast highway, and it'd be people doing trips along it. I think it would have some interest. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe maybe I'm all smoke, but you never know until you try it.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the same. I was looking at I-80, and I think probably the next one would be 5, but I'm pretty sure we have. I think Carla or Papa Network covers most of the 5 going south.
Yeah, but I'm talking about digital. I'm talking about C4FM.
Actual.
Yeah.
You're always clear.
Yeah,
and
again,
that's where I firmly believe in digital, is if you're on the road, you don't want to be screwing with trying to find something. Hit the call frequency, hear the person. I just got caught on I think it was K9FG had a story about saving someone with ham radio, and that's why we get into it. You know, it's not necessarily the sake of saving ourselves one day, or oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Hopefully, you're past that mindset of radio. But like, at least for me, my best friend is a conspiracy theorist, so I'm like, I'm not on that side. This is for fun and hobby, and maybe I find someone on a trail because I live out here. Like, find someone screwed up on a trail or something, and I know the repeater that always goes to emergency. I know the certain things. I'm a part of race and areas out here, so you know those certain things, and I mean, to me, that's the most you can really do on that side.
Well, I've had a play in something back years ago. I lived in Bakersfield, and the club down there had a what do they call it? Road and weather watch that they did during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And originally, there'd be somebody on frequency 24/7 during a period of 4 or 5 days each time. And now I don't go into all the deal, but it's sort of gotten ruined. But there was one time I got a call from somebody, the ham that was coming down from Tehachapi area, and I think his wife was going into labor.
Oh man!
And so I got on the horn and called 911. They dispatched a ambulance, and so we told them what they were driving. The ambulance, caught up with them, transferred her, and took her into the hospital. And of course, I don't know whatever happened after that, but at least once they got together, I was out of the picture, so I knew help was there. But yeah, it's exciting to help out like that, and that's what that road and weather thing was all about. The people traveling from north to south along either 99 or I-5, particularly during the January, Christmas and New Year's time. Fog is a big issue in the valley there, so we were always tracking the fog situation, and we'd stand a 2-hour watch, and it's nice to spend a little time of your life helping somebody,
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's one of the things that kind of got me into ham is you can spend time helping, being of a help and have fun with the gadgets.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, and there's the actual chance for some, to help someone, something.
Yeah.
I live out in San Jose, where cell service up in the hills next to me is really terrible. So you literally walk out of service out here, and yeah, as well the power goes out every week almost. I think I told you about that one time. It might not be too appropriate for a YouTube conversation, but yeah, the power goes out here all the time. And I had some hams from the nicer neighborhood saying it was for a certain reason.
I don't recall.
Oh, okay. They were trying to say that it's like they put the power out in the more diverse parts of town.
Okay.
Because these guys live up in the hill where it's a little nicer, and I guess they got a generator. But I live down in like the city where it's all apartments and like literally next to a mall. And you're like, yeah, they put the power out for those people first.
I don't think so.
I was a little iffy on it, but I was like, you're just trying to say something funny, and I don't see it.
No, and when there's a power outage, I mean, it's they don't always pick where it's going to go. Like with the high wind thing, that has no idea where it's going. They just know that there's a line going over a certain area, and there's going to be winds expected in that area. They shut the power off. Whatever happens on either end of that line, that's what happens. They're not, not doing it for any other reason.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was too funny when he said that.
Yeah.
One of the clubs out here, at least I think it's a club, it's an old IBM membership that it's a bunch of old dudes that say some pretty political stuff at times. I'm like, man, I'd love to join you guys because I can literally see your repeater, but too wild for me.
Well, see, that's the difference between IBM and NCR.
Yeah.
I used to work for NCR. I worked for them for about 2 years, many years ago. I was a service rep for them. There's always that battle between the NCR company and the IBM company.
Oh yeah, this whole area is pretty much IBM. Like IBM has, I think, 2 or 3 acres out here, like really close to me. That was like one of the first repeaters that I listened to was that IBM repeater. Just you're like, what are these guys like? I didn't even know IBM was really like that big anymore to have a ham radio. But I mean, it is actually kind of funny. Like if you ever look at the website, it looks pretty dated. I'm like, man, is this a memorial or what? Like really, I couldn't tell if it was the club's website or a memorial to this couple. I almost was kind of drawn out of radio for a little bit because I'm like, is everything this dated?
Yeah, living in the past.
I mean, thankfully I found another group that's a lot more active to say. They're not so behind the times.
So how's your weather out there where you're at now? Don't let that green screen fool you there that just popped up.
Oh yeah, no. I actually was looking at where the 80 split out here, and now I see. But no, it's been in and out. It's sunny and out, but man, last night it got so bad I pulled my I put a 10-meter inverted V on my deck, and I just pulled it down after so long because I was scared I was going to get blown away.
Oh, it could happen too.
Yeah, it out of nowhere it just broke into the storm and wind, and I said, no more of this. I heard you were having an internet issue. I'm guessing the weather's not too good up there?
No, it's not the best in the world right at the moment. I'm going to try to see if I can log on and find out what my battery status is. Oh, come on. I don't know. Let me take a peek. I'm going to disappear for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, well, the good news, I guess, is that it's not snowing and it's not raining anymore. The rain came and real hard yesterday. We got about 2 inches of rain. And then this morning it started snowing and sleeting and hail. And the only thing we haven't had yet is sunlight. So, that I would hope that it happens somewhere along the line. I just can't figure out what's going to happen here. Get this thing restarted again, I think. I'm trying to log on.
I think I'm seeing your green screen on YouTube right now.
Okay, yeah, the green screen, if on YouTube you're going to see green, but I think on Zoom you're going to see a background.
Yeah, I do. I see it. It looks like an orange sky.
Yeah, sunset, yeah. And that was back in Bakersfield. Let me get out of the way here. When I lived in the residential area, that was a house next door, sitting over there and looking at it in the sunset. And I was in the backyard there, obviously. So,
that's what we pay for out here in California. No matter where you are.
Oh, I finally got my screen up. Okay, good. Now let me have. I don't like to run the generator if the batteries are already charged. That's just wasting LP, and I'm short of that, and it's expensive.
I just bought a Biome, for my 705. I definitely get that one. Been trying to run the full 10 watts out of that. I'm like, I just need to get a power supply so I don't keep draining this battery from top to bottom. Have you checked out the BioEno batteries at all?
No.
Okay. I think they're made out of LiPo 4, or I can't remember what the actual comp is. I know it's a lithium of some sort.
Is that new one they're coming out with? One that's got it's a little more denser and it's got more capacity per
I think so.
Square centimeter.
Lithium iron phosphate. And yeah, it's pretty. I mean, for a tiny battery, it's a 4.5 hour, 12 volt. Just minor stuff, but it's pretty rock heavy.
Dylan, if you don't mind, let me just stick my head in the other room. I want
no worries, I gotta go.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Hey.
I got work coming, so.
Okay. Do you have a phone number or anything for me?
Yeah, you have my phone number.
Okay. I thought we did. I wasn't sure, just without checking. I want to make sure you didn't leave without some way to contact me. Feel free to contact me anytime, and I appreciate your help. I really do.
No problem. I love what you're doing, and like I said, one day, man, get a video going for clubs, because that's something I still don't get too well.
Get a video going for what?
Clubs.
How-
Remember you told me your club picks history, and oh man, I would love to sit and just listen to you talk about clubs.
Did I tell you that I'm the president of the club up here now?
Yeah, that's why I was
Yeah.
saying I wanted you to really do a good rundown of what clubs do out here. Because I mean, for a new ham, I don't know what the hell a club is for. I've never been a part of. I think I've been to. No, I've been to one field day. That's
Okay.
the most club thing I've ever done, and that was with races.
Okay. Clubs function on many different levels, but the basic is they should be helping, and it doesn't make any difference whether it's ham radio or four wheeling or roller skating or whatever. They should be a group of people helping somebody else, other members, with furthering their knowledge in that field, whatever it might be. So, hams helping hams. I mean, that's what it's all should be about. You got somebody that wants to become a ham, wants to get into four wheeling, wants to get into whatever. They should have a place to go where somebody is going to be willing to hold their hand and help them through the process, learn to get up to speed to be with the rest of the group. Now that's basically what it's all about. But it has to become big business these days. I say big business. You have to have a business mindset. It is a club. Yeah. It is a business. Okay?
Because that's the difference. Like, I could walk out and look on the database and see who my neighbors are, and oh hey, do you have any questions? I can figure some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like what I think the big thing is actually being able to have that access to Elmers.
Yeah.
Like people that are truly maybe 3 or 4 steps ahead of you on whatever your goal is.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is, you are a ham radio operator, okay? Believe it or not, you may not think you're qualified, but in some areas you may be qualified. You are an Elmer, but you're also looking for help. So I enjoy helping people because somebody's going to ask me a question I don't have an answer to. And I can do one of several things. I can dream up an answer and throw it at you and hope that it makes you happy. I can beat around the bush, or I can just come out and say, hey, I really don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I have some ideas, but I don't have an answer. So hopefully if I come up and throw some ideas at somebody like this new radio, I have no idea anything about it. I'm just looking at it like anybody else and making some guesses and whatnot. Nothing biblical about that. I mean, it's just we're looking at a picture. We're seeing it.
I am really interested in 500. Seeing it come out. If it is as big, I'm a bit of a screen fiend. But if it's as big as it looks, and like I'm hoping I'm really thinking it's the size of the 400.
It'd be nice. You know, the other radio that I think needs to be replaced, it's been around for a while, a lot longer than I'd like to see it be around, and that's the 991. I'd sure like...
That's not the one they just discontinued, right?
No, they have not
That was
discontinued.
the 881.
Right, they just
Oh, the 991's the one with 2-line LCD, right?
it was one what?
It has a little bit bigger screen.
The 991 is the C4FM base station.
I'm trying to look it up.
FT, it's an FT, not an FTM. It's an FT 991 Alpha.
Oh, okay, yes, I see. Big boy.
That's the ham shack in a station. I mean, in a box. I mean, the whole thing. Everything you need is there, except an antenna.
That's the true, I would say, probably the better comparison to someone, because I was looking at my first HF,
Mm-hmm.
and that I would probably say is the best comparison to a 73.
Yeah,
If you were going into that modern day.
Yeah, and this has got the 991 has got the touchscreen too. So it's a touchscreen. So you get soft buttons and stuff on the screen as you change different menu selections.
I think in the physical dimension, it's a little bit shorter, but it's taller, which I do like compared to the 7300. I like to compare physical dimension of it all, and I like the layout of the Yaesu, the big knob, and kind of fanning around that knob idea.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like not a bit of real estate is wasted. It just ticks something in my brain, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I don't know if you're going to be doing any HF right away, and you're looking at a station to get, I would be looking at the 991. But if you don't have any intents of doing HF, or in your case you have HF already, I'd just stay with that and go for a mobile rig to put in your thing. Now with this thing coming out, I'm going to say this looks like the one you want to hit with the dart.
Yeah, if you're on that side, yeah. And see, this is where I always think of the options. If you really have the urge to DMR, you can do it through your PC if you really, really want.
Yeah, go to Hoseline, right?
Yeah, or no.
Well, Hoseline just for listening.
Yeah, there's forgetting the name of it. I think it's something DSD. It might be DMR DSD or something weird that lets you use your sound card to listen to DMR. And I don't remember. I think you can transmit if you have cat control. I might be mistaken on that, but I know there's a computer mode because I did that before I got my license. I would listen to DMR on my SDR.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was the coolest thing for doing that and decoding some of that stuff. And then you get down into the other modes, which are a lot more, like you were saying earlier, a lot more data free. So data lossless. So it's a lot easier to transcode.
Yeah. Oh, I see Gus has been on here. I haven't looked.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Gus.
I wonder how.
And burn your whole battery or whatever your mobile is. You don't want to burn it all up at once. No, I'm blessed my significant other isn't into radio because I feel like I would have burned something by now.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I've got work time coming up. So, Ken, it's always good talking to you.
Okay, Dylan. We will chat later. Thank you very much for all your help, really.
No problem. Next time I'll try to jump into Zoom as soon as I can.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to figure out where I can get this laid out. I sort of have to. I want to keep my screen because as I change, I'm still. See, I don't know if this does make sense. I mean, as the stuff is changing, it's showing up. As I can change my streaming software still as active, even though it looks like it shouldn't be, even on the Zoom side. So, anyway, I'll try to remember what I've gotten and get it hooked up like this again.
Definitely, I'll excuse me. I'll definitely be here for sure.
Okay. You take it easy,
Take care of
Dylan.
yourself. Have a good one.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye.
7-3.
73.
Let's see here. Let's go ahead. Nobody else on. I can see. We'll go ahead down here and close that out.